Well, welcome back. Hopefully everybody had a good Christmas. Just got back from the Aloha Open over in Honolulu, Hawaii. Guys wrestled really well overall, I thought. Just starting off, I'm sure everyone knows at this point, Sam was out with his injury. He's doing really well. I think last time we talked, I'd said, you're looking at maybe 4 to 6 weeks. He's farther ahead of where we thought he would be out there. He was out there doing a lot of training, more rehab stuff as well, but it looks like he's got a decent shot at coming back. Best case scenarios, maybe he would be back for Michigan. They might be pushing it a little bit. He'll have to be hard drilling here and getting in some live stuff here pretty soon, but we'll see how it goes. I know as you get really close to being fully healed, to at least to a spot where you can compete, sometimes day by day it can take longer than you think, but we're really happy with where he's at. But with him being out, Jordan Bremer filled in at 125 pounds. I thought Bremer wrestled really well out there. He went 2-2. He had a couple really good matches against some good opponents, and I thought he competed really well. He got beat one match, got majored one match, but gave up some tilt points in the first period. The guy got on top and kind of caught him with a leg in and tilted him over a few times, but other than that, he did phenomenal and really wrestled well. So it was good to see him scrap. At 133 pounds, we had two guys in there. As you know, we left Chris Dardanes out of Northwestern to give him a break. I think it was just a great response for him coming back with his weight and stuff. He did a really good job. He looked phenomenal. It's the best I've ever seen Chris look. He looked great out there. I mean, extremely physical, strong, and great shots and stuff. So if you didn't get a chance to watch him, I think he just was phenomenal. Jordan Kingsley also wrestled 133. Picked up a win out there and wrestled well. 141 pounds, we just swapped at Dardanes. We gave Nick this weekend off, and he was out there training with the team, but Conrad Rangel was out there wrestling 141 for us. Conrad Rangel, he won the weight class. He went 3-0 out there and looked great. Had a couple good matches, and he's competed really well for us. So Chris won his weight. Rangel won it at 141. Moving into 149, Jake Short ends up winning the weight class, goes 3-0. He avenged a loss from Oregon State opponent earlier that we had lost to him in the Las Vegas tournament, and Jake came back. He was beating him 2-1 in the first period, and the guy ended up spraining his foot. So that ended that match a little bit short, but he picks up the win there. Moving to 157, Dylan Ness wins his weight class. He looks great. Had a couple really good scrambles overall. A couple of the matches were lower scoring just from the standpoint of, again, you see a lot of wrestlers going out very hard, very, I think, timid to attack Dylan. But overall, he looked really, really good. So at 165, we had two guys competing there. We had Nick Wanzak and Brandon Kingsley both out there. Both of them, each of them actually lost to the Oklahoma opponent. Both of them actually had opportunities to win those matches and were leading at some point. And so that was a disappointing, I think, loss for both of them. At the end of the tournament, they end up competing against each other. A very good match. Kingsley ends up beating Wanzak this time and coming out on top. If you remember earlier in the year, they wrestled at the Bison, was their only other time they competed against each other, and Wanzak ended up winning that match. Both matches were very close matches. They both showed that they're both competitive at the weight class. So we're trying to, make a decision here. Wanzak, had injured his knee a little bit earlier in the tournament. So nothing real serious, so he'll probably be fine. But with Michigan duel coming up, I know the staff and us have to talk here and kind of figure out who will be the guy that'll compete at 165 for that next duel. And it might be a spot where you see, you try to give different, each of them maybe some opportunities here to see if one guy will really make a clear point that he's the guy that can go out and score some big points for us. So, but things are a little bit up in the air there and still need to be discussed from the staff. So moving on to 174, Logan Storley looked phenomenal. Came out, hammered his way to winning the tournament out there, and he just really looked great. So he's back in his top form. At 184, Brett Farr, I think, is wrestling really, really well. He lost a tight match to one of the top-ranked guys at his weight, Meeks from Oregon State. It was a really good match. He had an opportunity to score at the end. He had a couple opportunities to score during that match. From a coaching standpoint, from the corner, I watching it, very proud of the way that Farr competed. I think he out-wrestled his opponent even though he didn't get a win. He's done that with a couple guys now. Dean and Meeks are two of the top guys in his weight, and I think from an effort standpoint, we're really proud. I think he's doing really well there. He can take some things he can learn from there, and I know he's a little bit pissed about the loss, but it's something that he can improve on, and I think he's making some really good strides. At 197, Scott Schiller looked phenomenal. He hammered his way through it. His shots are looking really, really strong, and he's just wrestling great. So we're really happy with where he's competing at this point. And then you move on to heavyweight. Creels ends up having the biggest weight class out there at heavyweight, believe it or not, and he gets 3 wins and ends up losing 2 matches to 2 guys, Oklahoma's heavyweights, and one of them was ranked a spot ahead of him. I think he took a little dip there, a couple mistakes in his match. I feel like he's made some huge progress from the Bison and the early tournaments to where he's at now, but made a couple little technical errors when he was wrestling, but nothing that I don't think that he can't fix. So from Creels, we need to see him score some more points, try to open up, be more offensive than he was being in those matches. When he normally does well. So those are some of the pointers. So other than that, we had some guys wrestle at the Midlands. I'm sure maybe some of you had a chance to see that. Some good results. Lezak and Petrie at 125. Lezak ends up placing there. So that was good for him. I know Tommy Thorne was out there wrestling at 141. Wrestled some good matches and did some really good things out there. Just fell short of placing. And Seth Lang ended up placing, and Pat Smith as well. And so both those two wrestled really well. And I was excited to see those guys get out there against some other competition and do well. So it lets us see where those guys are at. We can kind of go from there. So other than that, Michigan coming in here on Friday, January 9th. We'd hope to see everybody come out for that one. We end up losing to them in a duel in Michigan last year. So that's one we really want to revenge. So if you get a chance, come out and support us, please do, and we'll see you soon.